Hi, my name is Ayman Aitani. I'm a business growth specialist. I'm going to talk to you today about strategies for retail distribution. This was inspired by one of the entrepreneurs I spoke with. What he does is he works on packaged foods. So he's creating his own line of healthy snacks. And him and I had a lot of discussions about what his business needs to do in order to properly structure it. And I thought if I'd share this a little bit more here, we talk more about what does it mean for if you want to grow into retail and trying to sell products online. So the key aspects we're going to be covering is operations, what you need to do from an operation perspective, order fulfillment. Once you get an order, how would you fulfill it? The partnerships you need to have in place for sourcing your products, the customer support to address what the people need, the communications and advertisements, and how you distribute your product, your billing, which is a very critical aspect that gives you visibility on your finances and how you're actually delivering, hopefully profitably, content, and your overall cost management. So these are the key topics we'll be covering about the strategy for retail. Now, when we look at the building blocks to starting an online store, these are the key aspects we need to look at. So the operations. When we look at the operations, it could be the fact if you're sourcing them. So if it's clothing or food, snacks, or so on, they have to come from somewhere, like a source. It could be a factory, it could be a larger wholesaler, it could be whatever it might be. So whatever the product is made, you need to look at who am I sourcing this from, and how am I getting this to myself, as in the company, or to the purchaser if you're doing this direct to consumer via drop shipping or an equivalent aspect of this. So how you source it from, where you source it from, and the quality control there definitely plays a big role in what you're trying to do. The order fulfillment is an order comes in. So somebody buys something from you. What do we do? What's the process internally for this? Do you get an email notification and you have somebody checking emails always? Do you get a notification, audio notification somewhere? Who from your team captures this? Does this go to everybody or to some people? So those are definite aspects for you to look at when it comes to the fulfillment of the actual orders. And this also includes visibility on the status to the recipients. So the partnerships in place is usually you'd have that from a billing perspective because you need to accept online payments. So that's a type of partnership. Another type of partnership would be with the manufacturer of the goods or the wholesaler. And that also helps if you have bigger volumes of what it is. So the actual partnerships themselves will definitely play a role when you're looking at building and growing what it is that you're trying to do. In terms of distribution, this is a little bit tricky because you're relying on third party to deliver your goods. So it's unlikely that you have your own drivers and vans to deliver the items that you're selling to your customer. So you need to rely on third party. My recommendation is always to have at least 2 different companies in place for you to deal with. You have a primary company that you know are good and you're comfortable working with, and then you have a backup company. Because always your primary company might at one point or another be unable to deliver something. And if you have a promise of next day or same day to your customer, it's going to be a little bit tricky for you to do so with only one company. So if you have a second company that you can lean on as a backup or in order to distribute the volume across 2 different companies, that having that distribution management will definitely play a role. It would also help if you have a direct point of contact there, like an account manager or so on, because there will always be issues where you need to actually troubleshoot and follow up on things. Because when the customer buys from you, they have no idea who you're using in the background and they don't care. What they want to know is, where's my product? Why didn't I get it yet or not? And they're going to ask you as the retailer on it. So you have to go in the back and check with the delivery partner. Customer support. This is often overlooked by entrepreneurs. So the customer support, there are many issues. Like, I was double billed, my item did not arrive, it's damaged, this is not the right color, and it is not the right place for me, and so on. So all of these are very important when it comes to the servicing your customer, because at the end, we're all selling things that customers can get anywhere, from anywhere. So what would help is if you would be able to better service them internally. You could do it via WhatsApp, it could be via email, you could do it via Instagram DM. It doesn't matter, as long as you're able to respond very quickly and address things. Billing is definitely overlooked by founders a lot. As long as there's revenue coming in and we know roughly the cost, and we'll figure it out later. There are so many billing details about have all of the billings been charged properly or not. Sometimes there are double charges. Sometimes it says it's successful, but then there's an issue, and then there's a refund issue there, although you've shipped the product. So there are always things there that you have to look at. There are also transaction fees, monthly fees by your billing partner that you need to look into. If you do refunds and returns, that's even a bigger mess from a retail perspective on what it is that you need to set up and do from that case. So those are definitely billing issues for you to look at, and those are not straightforward. The communications part about your product and offering. What is it that makes you better? What is it does your brand stand for, and so on? And everything is commoditized. So anything that you're buying off the internet or you're selling, somebody else has been selling it for a long time. So there's nothing as much as unique as you might think that your product and business is. It's not. So how you build your brand and position yourself around that is what helps a little bit differentiate you from others. So here you need to think about what differentiates us, what makes us different, and how and why is this important for us, and what is important, what's our brand promise for you, and so on. And this is why I talked earlier about the customer support part, that's very important when it comes to what it is that you need to do. Now, when we look at content is what is it that you share publicly? So it's the writing, it's the design, it's the video of the product, it's the unboxing, it's the dealing with the influencers that do this, it's the emails you send to customers, not on transaction, but on communicating with them, and so on. So content is a core aspect of what your business is and what you're trying to do. So those are definitely areas for you to look at from the building blocks of your retail. Ad management, super important. It's a make or break. So you need to run ads on a regular basis, and you need to spend at least $100 a day, 360 dirhams a day for per channel, depending on what it is that you're trying to sell and your margin. So spending 50, 70, 80 dirhams, 20 dirhams here, 30 dirhams there will not help you as much as you think it would, because the ad networks are costly. Two, you have to run different types of targeting to get this, and a lot of the time it's not very profitable as well. So that's why, especially in the beginning, you're going to have to spend across these different channels to figure out what is the targeting that's working for me, what channel is working for me better than others. Do I look at emerging ad platforms like TikTok or not? How much can I allocate to that? Is my target audience there? What do I try? That is an important part when it comes to that. And my recommendation for this is to always learn how to insource this, to definitely learn the skill set that you need in order to learn and do this yourself instead of outsourcing it to somebody else. Cost management. That cost management is definitely an important issue when it comes to how much does it cost you to make, how much does it cost you to get the customer, how much does it cost you in terms of transactions and fees, billing fees, monthly fees for the services that you're using, packaging fees. You have to factor in returns, you have to factor in refunds, you have to factor in damage to your product. So I know you have 20 shirts under your bed that you need to that you're trying to sell from home, let's say, or you're in a warehouse somewhere, you're trying to sell these items. You have to factor in damage as well. So there are a lot of damage aspects as well for you to factor in. So that's definitely an aspect for you to look at. And that brings into the unit economics, which is how much does it cost you to acquire a customer, which is your CAC, your cost of customer acquisition. How much does the product cost to service them? Do they buy again from you, or is this like an impulse purchase that they do once every now and then? How much are you selling it for, and so on? And in terms of advertising, you can lose a lot of money very quickly. So, and because you have fulfillment issues, it's important to do like a tapered approach. So start a little bit in the beginning, and then start to ramp up to your $100 a day. And then you start to get to see, I have my first order, my second order, my third order. Am I able to fulfill them? What are the issues with my delivery company? What are the issues with the collection? What things in customer support am I not ready in order to service? So those are definitely areas for you to look at. So gradually up the spend when it comes to acquiring the ads and the customers via the ads. So as a recap, the building blocks of a retail distribution is the operational aspects of your business, of where you're sourcing your product, when it comes in, how you're able to fulfill it, and so on. The partnerships with the billing providers, your wholesalers, or the factories that you're dealing with, the customer support when the issues arise of I've been double billed and there are issues with my delivery, it's late, it's damaged, it's not the right color, I'm not home when you deliver this, whatever customer support issues that you have. And that will differentiate you from all of the other brands, because at the end, all of what we're selling and providing is a commodity. So many people have it. It's how you provide the services what makes the difference. The communication is how you're communicating this, and that has to do with the content piece of how you're communicating this. What's your positioning? What content are you using? Is it written form, audio, video? What are you doing there? Ad management is a different aspect for acquiring your customers, and it's an ongoing part that you always do. And the order fulfillment. So how do you fulfill your orders when they come in? How do you package them? Who sends them out? Is it you? Is it a third party? Are you using a third party fulfillment? And your billing. How are you charged? How much do you charge? What do you do for refunds and so on? The content in its different formats, and managing your overall costs. So if you're looking to do more on retail, it's not as easy as it looks like on the internet. It's not like many of the YouTube videos that you get where they tell you run a few Facebook ads and retire in an island somewhere while the customers come in, and it's auto-fulfilled via drop shipment and so on. So it's not straightforward. There are many different elements for you to look at. So that, in summary, is the planning for retail distribution. I'm doing this type of content on a weekly basis. Anytime you have any questions related to this, feel free to reach out by Instagram DM, and I'm more active on TikTok as well if that's something that you're spending time on as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out there. Thank you.